Welcome to European Railway, the video magazine for the continental enthusiast. In this, our first section, we sample activity around Dijon's main marshalling yard at Gevrey. Dijon is a major railway crossroads, bordering as it does on the edge of the AC and DC overhead electrification systems. Seen approaching the camera is dual voltage electric number 22242. This location is just to the north of the complex and is the most popular spot for both photographers and train watchers alike. The yard is situated to the south of Dijon on the line to Mâcon and is surrounded by rich agricultural land dominated by fields of mustard and rapeseed. Passing by the main reception sidings on the north side of the complex is this lineup of locos on their way to the main depot at Dijon. This freight has arrived from the south and has completed a full circle, enabling it to enter the yard's reception lines from the north end. There is a freight avoiding line running along the eastern edge of the yard, which sees a fair number of trains passing by that do not call at the main complex. The main passenger line runs down the western edge, where we see BB8285 hauling a Z7100 multiple unit. Photography on this particular stretch of line is difficult, because of the cutting and the large amount of overhead catenary. Freight traffic dominates here, with anything between 25 to 30 movements each hour during the busiest periods. To the south of the yard, all tracks merge into two. Here, a Class BB8100 electric heads for Lyon in July 1996. Along the eastern edge of the yard runs a small road which offers some good vantage points, particularly in the morning. Again in July 1996, number 8134 leaves the southern end of the yard with his trainload of cars. A short time later, and CC7100 makes a fine sight as it heads south. By contrast, on a misty 15th of June 2005, New Class 27, number 27059, skirts the yard with this southbound mixed freight. We're now halfway along the eastern side of the yard, and 36055 heads south. Without doubt, the best photographic spots are to be found north of the small D108 road, where, in addition, numerous farm tracks allow easy access to Lineside locations to the north of the main complex. Civic number 26135 drifts by with a trainload of finished cars. Diesels also head freight trains into the area, but they are not frequent, equating to around one movement each hour. Having said that, the yard shunting duties are carried out by locally based diesels, which rarely stray away from the yard's main area of operations. There are around 2 services each hour that bypass the yard. This July 1996 shot features number 7205. With the reception yard to the left, number 7362 is seen powering this northbound freight, which will then use the 180-degree loop situated to the north of the yard before entering the facility from the north. Number 6526 makes its way to the depot after bringing in a freight from Miramar Yard near Marseille. The date is 11th of May 2001. In the opposite direction, an impressive lineup of locomotives are seen at the head of this southbound train. Finally, representing the new order for SNCF freight is this example of BB8100. The yard is a great place to sample the variety of traction still to be seen on the French network, particularly those locomotives employed on freight services. The main line to the east of Karlovy Vary, in the northwestern part of the country, is currently being wired to Kadan to provide a through electrified route from Prague. In this section, we take a look at operations in June 2005 as the modernisation work proceeds. We begin at Klumek on Sunday 5th of June 2005 as 242-280 departs with the 1737 from Karlovy to Rhein. In the opposite direction comes 242-230 with a train from Rhein to Karlovy Vary. As can be seen, the Class 242 electrics dominate on this line. This is 242-267, with coaches for the overnight 1807 Rhein to Košice in Slovakia. The line here is electrified at 25 kV, which is the most common type of voltage used in the western and southern parts of the country. For a Sunday, freight traffic was surprisingly frequent. Passenger services on this line operate roughly 1 per hour in each direction. The area around Karlovy Vary produces significant quantities of open-cast brown coal. The line sees one loaded train every 2 hours or so. At Karlovy Vary on 25th of August 1998, a pair of Class 753 diesels double-head this eastbound coal working. A Class 750 and a 754 bring up the rear to assist up the steep climb to Hayak. Number 242266 is seen running around a working from Heb. For many years this has been as far as the electrified system had reached, with the route from here to Kadan, some 40 kilometres distant, being non-electrified and operated by diesel traction. "754-040 is seen arriving from the east with a short parcel service. This class of loco dates from 1979 and are all equipped with electric train heating supply. They are almost identical in appearance to the Class 753s. Through passenger workings require a change of traction from electric to diesel, and vice versa. This is 750104 restarting a train bound for Prague on 25th of August 1998. To the east of Karlovy Vary, on the line towards Hayak, the electrification masts were already in place in this 6th of June 2005 scene. One of the tracks had been taken up prior to relaying with replacement new rail. The summit of the line at Hayak plays host to unsilenced 749102, seen passing with a short westbound freight. This is 810344, departing with the 707 service from Karlovy Vary to Chomutov. Our visit coincided with track replacement work connected with the upgrading. Here, 742-410 clears the work area to allow the crane behind to begin lifting work. 751, 158 and 157 are seen double-heading this loaded coal train. Providing assistance on the rear is 751039. It is expected that most of these services will go over to electric traction in the form of dual voltage Class 363s when the modernisation work is expected to be completed in early 2006. Our final scene shows a westbound set of empties, powered by 751, 022 and 070. It is still possible to witness such workings on this line. Although as work is now almost complete, the old order will soon give way to the new. The Taurnbahn was the last main line completed in Austria when opened in 1909. Today it is one of the most popular alpine pass routes in the country, with spectacular scenery and engineering features. In this section we sample traffic on the northern half of the route from the Taurn tunnel along the valleys to Klamstein, with all scenes taken on Saturday 11th of June 2005. The 744-metre long Klamstein tunnel sees 1116123 emerging, hauling the 726 from Munchen to Klagenfurt. One 044085 has also finished its banking duties and heads north back down the grade to Schwarzach-St. Vith. This is the old station building, which now gets served by an infrequent rail replacement bus service. An increasing number of trains on the route are worked by Austrian Railway's new workhorse, the Class 1116 Taurus Electrics. The line has a mixture of single and double track sections, with single line being predominant through the tunnel sections and over bridges. just to the south of Dorfgastein, 1116183 and 006 rush by with this southbound freight. There are plenty of photographic vantage points all the way along this line. (116053) is in charge of the 1126 Klagenfurt to München service. This is Bad Hofgastein, as we look down onto the station for the arrival of the 1126 from München, headed in this instance by 1116163. This is Bad Gastein station, as a southbound hopper train restarts for the final climb up towards the Tauern tunnel at Bergstein. This is Bergstein, viewed from above the main tunnel entrance. The station also serves as the terminus for the shuttle trains carrying road vehicles under the mountain to a similar facility at Malnitz over Villach. These trains generally operate to a 45-minute frequency from 6 in the morning to 11 at night. 1044050 is seen departing with the southbound service. The Taurnbahn tunnel has now been completely modernised, with the original portal left as a historic monument. The station at Bergstein is 1,173 metres above sea level, whilst the Taurnbahn tunnel itself is just over 8.3 kilometres long. One of the two hourly passenger services is seen here, with 1044062 in charge. The train is the 9:45 from Zagreb to Salzburg. Finally, we leave the Taurnbahn with this shot of a Class 1116 heading south out of Bad Hofgestein, with a 6 o'clock from Dortmund to Klagenfurt. This line really offers some excellent photographic opportunities, and with a reasonably busy rail service, it is highly recommended for anyone wishing to sample alpine rail routes at their best. In this, the second part of our survey of the railways that skirt the mighty Rhine River, we focus on the town of Linz, which is situated on the opposite side of the river to the famous town of Remagen. Number 143078 restarts its train as it heads south for Koblenz. In the opposite direction, a pair of Class 425 electric units slow for the station stop, whilst working the 947 from Koblenz to Mönchengladbach. a route which sees them operate via Bonn and Köln. But it's freight that dominates this line, as we see one of the regular iron ore workings from Rotterdam to the steel plant at Dillingen, just to the north of Saarbrücken. The time is 10:25 on Saturday, 4th of June, 2005. German Class 182 Taurus number 182011 rounds the curve on a working from Linz in Austria to Gremberg Yard in Köln. DB has 20 such locomotives on its books and are effectively identical to the Austrian Class 1116. Moving along the road that runs along the back of the station, we pick up ERS Class 66 number 6605, heading a Rotterdam to Meltzo container train. This is 143837 with the 11 o'clock from Köln to Koblenz. Note the rail buses on the right, used on the preserved line up to Taurnbahn. With freight services running every 10 minutes or so, pretty well 7 days per week, there is always something to see. This is 151149. Finally, 185151 runs north through the station with another mixed freight. With passenger trains included, you can expect at least a good 10 workings per hour, and so it is a rewarding stretch of line to visit. In our next edition of European Railway, we will visit the line just to the north of Boppard. The 2005-2006 winter in Europe has been one of the most productive for heavy snowfalls in recent years. However, for most Central European countries, snow can be expected every winter. In February 2005, cameraman Ian Wilson paid a visit to Debrecen in the east of the country after some seasonal snowfall. This V43 electric quickly follows with a train for Zahan. We now move west to the country and to Seldermalk, as this M41 brings in a single coach from the nearby carriage sidings. This M62 arrives with a train from Paich. Note the generator van immediately behind the loco. This is the engine room of a Russian-built Class M62 diesel. The 115-ton locos are fitted with a 1,470 kilowatt engine, which produces around 2,000 horsepower. Finally, the engine is seen starting up prior to the loco working its next turn of duty, a return working back to Paich. Back in the east, a local Sundays only service to Matadzalka uses a Class M62 as train pilot in order to get the M62 positioned for a following day's freight diagram. The loco double heads with the rostered Class M41. The train is seen here in open countryside. Unfortunately, this particular turn has now finished. A station stop is made where the train is being passed by one of the endangered Class ND MOT rail sets, a design dating from the early 1970s. We return again to Debrecen station, where V431083 leaves with a southbound service. Finally, another V43 arrives from the south. Note the driving coach marshal just behind the loco. In this section we take a look at activity on the main line east of Basel, which leads to Brugg and onwards to Zurich. It is also on the route which leads to the famous St Gotthard Pass. Our first scene takes us to around 10 kilometres east of Basel, as German ICE 401090 hurries by with the 5:57 Zurich to Hamburg service at just before sunrise on Thursday 29th of April 2004. In the opposite direction is this Class 560 unit, forming the 635 local service from Basel to Frick. The first rays of sun catch 460.042, seen on the rear of this early morning commuter train for Basel. This location is around 2 kilometres to the west of Merlin station, about the same distance from Rheinfelden. In this view we see 11617 heading east at 7:30 in the morning with a train of oil tank wagons. This is 560038, forming a service to Laufenburg. The line enters open countryside near to the town of Dossenboden, where a 13% gradient is attained on each side of a small summit. Number 560038 is seen again returning with a service to Basel from Laufenburg. The main Route 3 motorway to Zurich can be seen in the far background, as RE11672 and RE44-11187 are checked by signals. There are frequently anything from between 6 and 8 freights on this line every hour. Here, number 11212 heads an overnight city nightline service from Hamburg to Zurich. This is 560031 being passed by number 460006. Most Basel to Zurich expresses are in the hands of Class 460 locomotives, with many services formed of double-deck stock. Finally, 11162 and 11645 are captured heading down the grade towards Basel, with another freight off the St Gotthard route. We would like to thank you for watching this edition of European Railway.